We've been doing Fine Editions 2 months at a time, but this month was crazy and I want to talk about it. Hello there, welcome back to the channel. I am Grand Moff Tony. Now, today is the first video of the month, and that means we are doing what we always do. We're going to have a chat about the new additions to the collection. It is time, once more, for Fine Editions.
Fine addition to my collection.
Yes, welcome to the Fine Editions of the month of March. Now, I wanted to do Fine Editions for March on its own because, unlike other months where we have kind of relatively dry periods, we didn't really pick much up, March has actually been pretty active. We've done a couple of toy hunts, and it's been great seeing people turn up for the toy hunts again. I'm really glad we're doing them again because I've really missed getting out there looking for toys. And as a result, there have been some great additions to the collection this month, so I'm very, very eager to talk about them. So let's not waste any time, let's get into this. Now, of course, the main theme from the month of March has been the Bad Batch, tracking down the Season 2 Bad Batch figures. And I have had very, very mixed results. We've done 2 toy hunts looking for these guys so far. And the first one I was able to track down was Wrecker. I found Wrecker at one of my local Walmarts, and finding him so easily is part of the reason why I wanted to go out there and find the rest of them, because I thought, hey, if this is how easy it is to find Wrecker, imagine how easy it's going to be to find the rest of them. Ha 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 ha! But really, getting Wrecker out of the box, I've just been reminded how amazing these Bad Batch figures are. Like, when you don't have any of them, it's very, very easy to be like, I don't need them, I've got Season 1, I'm very, very happy. But as soon as I picked up Wrecker, as soon as I got him out of the box, and as soon as I got to grips with this new version of the character, it just made me want the others more. This is such a great update to the Wrecker figure. I mean, it looks incredible. Just the slight changes in colour, and it just makes the world of difference. You put the 2 figures, the original Wrecker and the new Wrecker, together, and yeah, you know what? Part for part, they may be very similar, but it feels completely new. And this figure was made all the better by the fact that I didn't spend any real money on it because I used a gift card to buy it. I used a gift card to buy the most expensive member of the team, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm having such a hard time coming to terms with potentially spending aftermarket prices on the other guys that I'm missing. The Wrecker figure is just so big. It's so big, so bulky. You stand it next to some like regular sized figures, and there's a figure that comes up later in this video that I want to talk about, just how big it makes Wrecker look, because he is so imposing. I absolutely love it. I'm really looking forward to building not 1 but 2 Bad Batch displays once I've tracked down the rest of the team. Wrecker is an absolutely fantastic addition to the collection this month. But the fun didn't stop there. A few days later, after that particular toy hunt, I stopped into my local Walmart, the one right around the corner from where I live, and I came away with Tech. Now, out of all of them, Tech was the one that I was most looking forward to finding. Now, you know, there's stuff with Hunter being, so elusive because of what happened with the original one, and, Echo's cool and all that, and Wrecker's big and bulky. Tech is the one that I was the most excited to go out and find, because they've corrected the issue with the original Tech where he doesn't have his goggles where you take his helmet off, and the new Tech is just so much better. It is so much better. I am sorely tempted to go out and buy another one of these guys to get a second Season 2 Tech head to put on my original Tech figure, and then just repaint the helmet so it looks like his Season 1 appearance. Because this is just the superior Tech figure. This feels like when we got the archive re-release of Boushh Leia, or the archive re-release of Veteran Han. They didn't have to do this. They didn't have to change the mold on this figure, but they did, and it made such an improvement. I have the same sort of critique about all of these figures, and that's that, yeah, I'm going out and buying the same figures again. I'm buying the same characters again. They could have put something else in the box, like Wrecker could have come with his little doll, or maybe Tech, for instance, could have come with his data pad. But this is really splitting hairs. Like, I'm so thrilled with these guys. I'm so happy with how they look. And like I said with Wrecker, it just builds. The more of these guys you track down, the more you're like, I need to get the rest of them. It started with Omega back when we did the Kentucky Toy Hunt back in October. I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have bought that Season 2 Omega, because she's the one that made me reevaluate whether I wanted the rest of the team. And of course I came to the decision that I do want them. Tech is absolutely brilliant. He's got so much personality, and you can pull off so many, like, nerdy little poses with him, and I really want to get him, like, a 3D printed datapad or something, because he looks like he should be fiddling with something. He always needs to have something in his hands. You know, I've got him playing with his imaginary little datapad on his arm, and that's good enough for now, I suppose, but that's what I've got my original Tech doing. I kind of want to do something different with the new Tech. Season 2 Tech was a brilliant find, and I need to track down the rest of the team, because now I'm 3 out of 5. I've got Omega, I've got Wrecker, I've got Tech. I've only got 2 left, and the hunger to find those 2 is real. I gotta get out there, I have to find them. We've got a couple of more ideas of where we're gonna go looking for them, but I will keep that to myself for the future of the channel. Moving on to the first of 2 toy hunts that we did this month, we popped up north and had a little look around all of those places that we don't usually get to. That was part of the one that we went to 9 different Walmarts looking for Hunter and Echo and came away with nothing. But we did come away with a couple of extra finds that we weren't expecting. The first of them being Island Journey Rey. Now, I believe this is the last Rey figure that I actually need. Pretty sure I've got them all now, and now that I've got her in hand, yeah, I can kind of see what people are talking about. This is a brilliant Rey figure. I believe this was one of the first Reys that came with the photoreal likeness, because the first few waves of The Last Jedi stuff still had the old style of doing faces. This feels photoreal, and I'm very, very pleased with it. This was never one of Rey's looks that I was like, oh, I've really got to track that one down. I'm always more a fan of the Rise of Skywalker Rey or the Last Jedi Rey. That's my favourite of her looks from the movies. But you know what? This Rey has been really, really surprising. It's been sitting on my coffee table for a few weeks now, and every time I look at it, I am blown away by how good it is for how old of a figure it is. I didn't keep the poncho on Rey. I had plans for the poncho. The poncho has gone to my Ahsoka figure in my Mandalorian display, and I can just take a little side note here to say it really, really elevates this figure to the next level. I am so, so pleased with how this looks. I don't really want to get into the whole Baylan and Shin reissues with the robes, because I'm still quite cross about that, and I don't want to vent too much. But if the same thing ends up happening with the Peridea Ahsoka, I'm gonna have to take the evidence of what they've proven they're prepared to do, and I will probably hold off on that Peridea Ahsoka, safe in the knowledge that there's another Ahsoka coming with a robe, because I feel like now that I've seen robed Ahsoka, that's what I want moving forward. But yeah, this is an absolutely brilliant little Rey figure. I am so, so pleased. I'm actually sorely tempted to go and dig out my old Jedi Master Luke figure and just have them standing across from each other in my bookcase, because I feel like it's something that needs to happen. I need to see this, even if it's just for a 20-second Instagram reel. Island Journey Rey is a fantastic addition to the collection this month. We picked up Rey from Disc Replay up in Saginaw, and while I was in the same store, I found some sort of exclusive Sergeant Jyn Erso from Edo. Some sort of exclusive Sergeant Jyn Erso on Edo figure, the one that comes with the great big mound of rocks that she's just randomly standing on. And you know, even though I don't tend to go for these diorama-y figures, I was really impressed with this one. I really like it. The rocks are give or take. I've had a couple of ideas of what I want to do with the rocks, and some of them involve changing what color they are, so we'll come back to that idea maybe. But the actual Jyn Erso figure itself is really, really cool. I kind of dig all the extra layers that she's got on. She's got a little breathing mask, a little poncho, a little like hard plastic poncho, and you know, it's very scene specific, but I think it looks really, really cool. I've always had this idea when I'm building my Rogue One display that it was going to be a Scarif beach display. I was going to have like the team looking all cinematic and all posed, and it was going to be on a beachfront, and I was going to get some like modeling sand and build up a coastline. But actually, looking at how these rocks look, I'm sorely tempted to build like an Edo display instead. Have them standing on rocks and have it looking really, really cool. A lot like a lot of the other diorama-style figures, I haven't done a ton of posing with this Jyn figure, mostly because I remember the original Jyn figure and I know how gummy those legs were, and I don't want to risk damaging how she looks, because right now, just standing in her passive pose exactly as she came out of the box, she looks fantastic. I don't want to risk ruining that and then not be able to find it again. So it's not the best figure in terms of articulation, and of course it's an older one, so the face isn't quite as good, but I think it's a really cool figure. I really, really like it. Funny story, it comes with this absolutely random accessory, and I'm looking at it in the box and I'm like, what is that? It looks like a stick grenade, but it's just too long. Just too long to be a stick grenade. And I'm like, what is that? Is that a sniper scope? Is it some kind of water bottle? I don't bloody know. Puzzled me for days trying to figure out what this thing was, because I was being really stubborn and I was refusing to look it up. Well, eventually a couple of weeks passed and I was just like, you know what? I give up. So I popped onto Galactic Figures to find out what it is, because they always include a list of the accessories that come with each figure. And I finally found out it's her baton. It's her stun baton, only it's collapsed. I think the silver bit is supposed to flick outward, and then the darker bit extends to make the bulk of the wacky bit. Yeah, I couldn't wrap my head around it, and now I'm looking at it and I'm like, of course that's what it is, you fool. What else is it gonna be? No, this is an absolutely brilliant figure. I'm really, really pleased with it. It's giving me a lot of ideas for how I want to do my Rogue One display. Yeah, this Jyn Erso is a brilliant addition to the collection. It's not one that I expected. It's not one that I thought I was ever going to want. But remember that gift card that I used to buy Wrecker back at the start of the video? I had some money left on it, and that meant that I walked away with Island Journey Rey and this Eadu Jyn Erso for about 76 cents. And you really can't turn your nose up at that. Moving on to the first dud I've had in months. I am usually so careful when it comes to buying figures. I've got a color-coded spreadsheet that tells me what figures I've got, what figures I have on order, and what figures I don't want. And 9.5 times out of 10 it works, but this time I absolutely failed. I ended up buying a figure that I already have. It's the Imperial Hover Tank Driver, and he came as part of that Troop Builder Imperial Archive wave that came out a while back. I think it had Death Trooper in it, the Shore Trooper. It had this Trooper in it as well, and I'm pretty sure there was another one, or maybe it was Tarkin, I don't remember. But I found it loose in Toy Wars over in Canada. We made a return to Toy Wars and it was a great time. More of that to come in next week's video. But it was loose, so I couldn't immediately identify it. Like, at first I thought it was the Mountain Trooper, and then I was like, no, it doesn't. The Mountain Trooper has a different kind of helmet. And my wife obviously Googled it and found out, no, it's not the Mountain Trooper. And then I was like, is it the ACT tank driver? Is it the hover tank driver? And I pulled up my spreadsheet, and sure enough, under Imperial Hover Tank Driver, it's marked white. It's marked as a figure that I don't have. So I'm like, oh, great, grab it. Well, a little bit further up the spreadsheet, under simply Hover Tank Driver, it's marked green, because I do already have this figure, and I've made a mistake and I've bought the same figure twice. But you know what? It was $10 Canadian. You can't really say no to that. And it's an army builder. And it's a pretty decent army builder, to be honest with you. It pulls off some really good military style poses. It looks good aiming its gun, and I'm not that bummed about it. I'm just bummed that my usual strategy for making sure that I don't buy the same figure more than once completely failed. And funnily enough, when we got home, we watched back my latest collection tour and collection counting video, and sure enough, like, you can see me unloading figures out onto the table, and there he is in the last batch of figures that came out of the box. So he was buried right down there. I don't know, maybe I bought the Redline box version of this character and then I missed out on the archive. This one feels like the archive. I don't know if there's any difference between the two. I'll be perfectly honest with you. It's really cool. I'm just bummed that I spent money on a figure that I already have, but he's still a fine addition to the collection. Later on in that very same toy hunt, we stopped into a GameStop in Canada and came away with the Holiday Edition Jawa and Salacious Crumb. I was thrilled when we found this. This was one of the GameStops where the last time we were in Canada, we were finding some really good stuff, and this was one of those standout stores, and they came through again. I have stood on ceremony and viciously defended these figures for my entire collecting career. I absolutely love the holiday figures, and I am completely unapologetic in that love for them. They just add something new to the Christmas decorations when we put them up each year. And I had honestly given up on finding this guy, but I am thrilled to come away with his little Santa outfit, and then the Salacious Crumb looking like the Grinch. It's just cool. It's funny, and I like it. I'm pretty sure this just leaves the Nutcracker Purge Trooper that I still need to find, and then I have, once again, a complete set of the Holiday Black Series figures. So thrilled. This guy looks great. I'm so happy with him. The Holiday Jawa and Salacious Crumb, fantastic additions to the collection. And the final addition to the collection this month came from a GameStop, again in Canada, 8 minutes before closing. I ran in there, and sure enough, I'm going through the figures, and I'm like, there's nothing really jumping out at me. And then I spotted Vel Sartha hanging from a peg. She had been marked down 3 times on the box, down to $9 Canadian. And you know what? That was enough for me to walk away with her. I've been leaving this figure on shelves for months. It feels like I've been doing it for nearly a year. And the same goes for Luthen. I've been leaving Luthen on the shelves for nearly a year now, because it's just that they just refuse to come down in price. They absolutely refuse. Luthen, the last time I saw him, he was $35, and I'm like, absolutely not. I'm sure it's a great figure, but no. $9 Canadian for Vel, yeah, I'll take her home. And you know what? She's great. There is nothing wrong with this figure at all. This is the one that I wanted to bring up because she makes Wrecker look huge, because she is so small. She's almost like 3 3/4 inch scale. She looks so short. But it's a brilliant figure. All of these Andor figures are great. I just didn't feel the push to go out and get them. She comes with her little blaster. She's got some great details on her outfit. She looks like she could be an extra from G.I. Joe Classified, but that's beside the point. It's a really good figure. I'm really pleased that I have her, and I'm starting now with the figures that I've managed to get to kind of build an idea of this Andor display that I want to do in my head, and it's coming together. It's coming together now. Luthen, I believe, is the last figure that I need. There might be some more troopers out there from the Andor line, I'm not 100% sure. Pretty sure it's just Luthen left that I need. But this figure is great. It's got classic modern articulation. I love the little feature where the gun has the stock that rotates out and sits in her arm if you want to have it like that. Or you can have it folded up. I kind of prefer having it folded up. It's just a neat little inclusion that they made. For $9 Canadian, you really can't say no. Vel is brilliant, and I'm really glad I picked her up. So there you have it. Those were all of the fine additions to my collection from the month of March. So let me pass this subject off to you. Did you get any new figures this month? Any that you've been really looking for? I've been hearing from a lot of you how the Bad Batch situation is in your areas, and sometimes I'm hearing like, oh, you know, my Walmarts look incredible and yours are terrible by comparison. And then I hear the exact opposite, where my Walmarts are absolutely terrible and they've got some great stuff. I'm still hearing rumors about people having Hunter marked down $10. Now, according to my Walmart app, there is not a single Walmart branch in Michigan that has Hunter and Echo. And I got to admit, I'm feeling a little defeated in that area. So maybe I will just cave and pay the extra. I think Hunter came down by about $10 since the last time I did a video, which is kind of cool. But Echo has gone up. Echo's gone up by another $15 since that video, and I don't understand why. Like, what's going on? Why is the market for Black Series figures of the Bad Batch fluctuating so much? Is it because the series is on right now? It probably is. I'm sitting here and I'm realizing that I've probably just spoiled all of the fine editions that we find from the second Canadian Toy Hunt, which is the video that we're doing next week. So if you could all just forget about the last couple of figures I've talked about and then act all surprised when I upload next week's video and go, oh, look what we found there. But I will say, we did find some really cool stuff on that toy hunt. We didn't buy it because it's not what I wanted, but there was one item in particular in a GameStop that I think you'll all be surprised to see that we found, because I don't think it was supposed to be there. Pretty sure it's supposed to be an exclusive, but we'll see. In the meantime, however, I've been Grand Moff Tony. Those were the fine additions to my collection from the month of March. You may subscribe when ready. From the Munch of... The Munch? The Munch of March. the munch of month. Edo, Echa, Jin, Urso, on Edu. Okay. From the month.